I don't chase, I attract. And the moment you understand this difference, everything changes. Most people spend their entire lives running, chasing money, chasing clients, chasing respect. And the harder they run, the further away it all seems. That exhaustion you feel, that frustration when you're doing everything right but nothing's working, there's a reason for it. The psychology is brutal but simple. Chasing signals desperation, and desperation repels the exact things you want. You're not built to beg, you never were. Every day you keep chasing is another day you're pushing success away. Here's what to do instead. Think about it. When someone chases you, when someone needs you too much, what happens? You pull back, you create distance. It's instinct. The same principle applies to money, opportunities, and success. The universe doesn't reward desperation, it rewards alignment. It rewards the person who becomes so valuable that opportunities chase them. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe so you never miss our videos, and share this with someone who needs to see it. But here's the question nobody asks. Why do we chase in the first place? Chasing is a survival mechanism. It comes from a place of lack, a place that says, you don't have enough, you're not enough, and if you don't grab what you want right now, it will disappear forever. This is scarcity thinking, and it's destroying your result. When you operate from scarcity, every action you take carries the energy of need. Clients smell it, investors sense it, partners feel it, and they run. Picture this. You're at a networking event. There's that one person who corners everyone, talks too much, hands out business cards like candy, and follows up 17 times. What do? You avoid them. You make excuses to leave. You never call them back. Now picture someone else, calm, confident, not pitching anyone, just having real conversations, being genuinely interested, not needing anything from anyone. Who do you want to work with? The difference isn't luck, it's energy. The first person is chasing, the second person is attracting. And you can learn to be the second person. But here's where most people get it wrong. The attraction equation. Attraction isn't passive, and this is the part that trips people up. When I say I don't chase, I attract, I'm not saying sit on your couch and manifest a Ferrari. That's fantasy. I'm talking about strategic positioning that makes opportunities come to you. Here's the brutal truth. Nobody owes you anything. The world doesn't care about your dreams, but the world does respond to value. Attraction has three components: value, visibility, and detachment. Value means you have something people want, not what you think they should want, what they actually want, something that solves a real problem or fulfills a real desire. Visibility means the right people know you exist. You can be the most valuable person in the world, but if nobody knows about you, you starve quietly. Detachment means you're not emotionally attached to any single outcome. You want success, but you don't need it from any specific person or any specific deal. Miss any one of these three, and you're back to chasing. No value? You're begging people to care. No visibility? You're invisible. No detachment? You're desperate. Think about the most successful person you know. Really think about them. They're not begging for clients. They're not chasing deals. They're not refreshing their email, hoping someone says yes. They have something people want. They show up where it matters. And when someone says no, they move on. No drama, no desperation, just on to the next. That's not luck, that's attraction in action. And the good news, this is a skill, not a personality trait, not something you're born with, a skill you can develop starting today. So how do you actually build it? Becoming magnetic, the magnet method. Enough theory. Let's get practical. Here's the exact framework for shifting from chaser to attractor. M, master, something valuable. Pick one thing and become undeniable at it. Not good, undeniable. The person people call when they need this specific result. Most people spread themselves thin. They're okay at many things, great at nothing. That's a recipe for chasing. When you master something valuable, something interesting happens. People start seeking you out. Referrals show up. Opportunities appear, not because you asked for them, because your reputation travels faster than you ever could. A, amplify your presence. Being great in silence is the same as being invisible. You need strategic visibility. This doesn't mean being loud. It doesn't mean being everywhere. It means being in the right places, with the right message at the right time. And this is where most ambitious people fail. They think if they just keep their head down and work hard, someone will notice. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's scouting for hidden talent. You have to be visible. Think about your own behavior. When you need a lawyer, a contractor, a consultant, Do you go searching for hidden gems? Or do you ask your network, check who's visible, see who's already established credibility? You go to the visible ones, so does everyone else. G. Generate without attachment. This is the hardest part. Produce value without being attached to who receives it or when you get paid back. And speaking of generating value, if you're serious about building real wealth, not just learning about it, I created something specifically for people like you. The VYBO Wealth Blueprint breaks down the exact frameworks, systems, and psychology shifts that separate those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. It's the complete roadmap I wish I had when I started. Check the link in the description if you're ready to stop consuming and start building. Now back to the method. Create content that helps people even if they never buy from you. Share insights without gatekeeping everything. Build relationships without keeping score. Think about it like farming versus hunting. Hunters eat what they kill. Every day is a chase. Every day is survival. Farmers plant seeds, water them, trust the process. They don't dig up the seeds every day to check if they're growing. They know the harvest comes to those who cultivate consistently. Attraction is farming. You plant value, nurture relationships, and trust that the harvest will come. N. Navigate from abundance. Every decision you make comes from one of two places, scarcity or abundance. Scarcity says, take this deal, even though it's bad because you might not get another one. Abundance says, walk away because better opportunities exist. Here's what's counterintuitive. The moment you're willing to walk away, that's when people chase you. E. Elevate your standards. Attract what you tolerate. If you accept low prices, you attract cheap clients. If you accept disrespect, you attract people who disrespect you. If you accept mediocrity, you become mediocre. What are you currently tolerating that you need to eliminate? Your standards aren't just preferences, they're signals. They tell the world what you're worth, and the world believes you. T. Trust. The timeline. Attraction is an instant. It's cumulative. You've probably heard stories of overnight success. Someone goes viral. Someone lands a massive deal out of nowhere. What you don't see is the 5 years of invisible work that made that moment possible. The seeds they planted when nobody was watching. The value they created when nobody cared. The standards they held when nobody was paying attention. That's the magnet method. Master, amplify, generate, navigate, elevate, trust. But knowing the framework isn't enough. We've covered the psychology and the framework. Now let's talk about what's really keeping you stuck. Because here's what I've noticed about ambitious people. They understand these concepts. They know chasing doesn't work. They know they should create value and detach from outcomes. And yet, they keep chasing anyway. Why? The identity shift. The problem isn't strategy, it's identity. You can't attract as one person and chase as another. You can't act abundant while believing you're lacking. The internal and external have to match. And this is where most self-improvement advice fails you. They tell you what to do. They never tell you who to become. Your identity is the thermostat of your life. It determines what you'll accept, what you'll pursue, and what you believe you deserve. If you see yourself as someone who has to chase, you'll chase forever, even when opportunities are standing right in front of you. If you see yourself as someone who attracts, you'll make different decisions, take different action, show up differently. This isn't affirmations in the mirror. This is fundamental rewiring. The way you talk to yourself, the way you interpret setbacks, the way you carry yourself in every room you enter. Right now, in this moment, you're either reinforcing the identity of a chaser or building the identity of an attractor. There's no neutral. And if you want to accelerate this identity shift, if you want to surround yourself with people who think this way every single day, consider joining the VYBO membership. Members get exclusive content, early access to new frameworks, and direct access to a community of people who are actively building, not just watching. The link is below the video. This isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who are done consuming and ready to become. Now let's talk about how to actually make this shift stick. The shift happens through evidence. Small wins that prove to your brain that attraction works. May start with something small. Create value without expecting return. Walk away from one bad opportunity. Hold one boundary you normally wouldn't. Watch what happens. Collect the evidence. Let your brain see that the new way works. I remember the first time I walked away from a deal that would have paid me well, but came with terms I didn't respect. Every fiber of my being screamed, take it. What if nothing else comes? Something better came within 2 weeks. It always does when you hold your standard. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. The compound effect. Attraction compound. This is the part people miss. When you chase, you're trading time for opportunity. One effort, one potential result. Linear. When you attract, value stacks. Reputation builds. Networks expand. One piece of content works forever. One strong relationship leads to 10 more. And here's where it gets interesting. The compound effect of attraction doesn't just add up, it multiplies. Think of attraction like planting an orchard versus hunting for fruit. The hunter works just as hard today as they did 5 years ago. Every day is a new search. The orchard owner worked hard at the beginning, but now the trees produce fruit whether they're actively working or not. And those trees create seeds for more trees. Most people will spend their entire lives hunting, working hard, getting nowhere because they never stop to plant. 5 years from now, you'll be somewhere. The question is whether you'll be exhausted from chasing or receiving from attracting. The beautiful thing about compound attraction, it's never too late to start. The best time to plant was 5 years ago. The second best time is today. Every piece of value you create today, every relationship you nurture, every standard you hold, seeds. Think about where you were 5 years ago. If you had started planting then, where would you be now? Now think about where you'll be 5 years from now. What seeds will you plant starting today? This is your moment, not tomorrow. Now, I don't chase, I attract. And now you understand why. Chasing comes from scarcity. It signals desperation. It repels what you want. Attraction comes from abundance. It requires value, visibility, and detachment. It compounds over time. The magnet method gives you the framework. Master something valuable. Amplify your presence. Generate without attachment. Navigate from abundance. Elevate your standard. Trust the timeline.